What is up, rugby fans? Welcome back to the RFD show. I am joined by the Jakkal. The Jakkal, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and you?
Can't complain. Just excited that we saw some rugby this weekend. Good to see you again as well and watching rugby with us.
Oh yeah, that was awesome rugby to watch. Just glad to have some live sport on TV for once.
Yes, it was very good to just to cheer with rugby fans and just see some rugby fans and just see rugby in general. We saw some banter with the Hurricanes Blues game, but we'll leave that for another podcast. Today we're talking a bit about the Australian Super Rugby and their rule changes, and one in particular, the 50-22 kicking rule, which is spoken about, if I'm looking at articles here, since 2019 March. So it's almost been a year and a half in the working now. Jacques, just give us a run through what the rule is.
Okay, so the 50-22 rule is taken from the rugby league from Australia, the 40-20 rule. This rule, it says here in an article, it says under the rule, attacking teams will receive a line-out throw if they kick the ball from within their own half into touch inside their opponent's 22. Providing the ball takes a bounce before heading out of bounds. So that would just see if the team kicks and it bounces before it goes out into the opponent's 22, the kicking team, the attacking team will receive the line out. So I think that will be a good thing for the attacking team. I think we will see more points being scored this way.
Yes, and you mentioned now more points being scored, and this is obviously a rule to encourage running rugby, as the rule will allow players to form a back three kind of. So your two wingers will fall back, and the fullback will be back to cover the kicks, so you won't get a line out, a defending line out in your own 22 or in your own half for that matter, because a driving ball can go out anything up to 60 meters, as we've seen before. So there's obviously employment to start opening up the outside by pulling back the wingers, if I can state it like that. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the coaches will have to get some new strategies in place for this new rule because the wings just can't be in line defending. They have to be at the back defending the kicks. So I think there will be a good chance for overlaps for the attacking team. But I also think if the back three can get the ball, they have so much space to work with. They can also kick, or they can just do a quick step or something just to get the adrenaline going again. So I think this is a good thing for Australian rugby. I think good thing for attacking rugby. I just think the defense might be a bit difficult, but with professional sports, there's always some challenges being thrown to you, and you have to adapt.
Oh, I like that. I like that you say you have to adapt. So, Jacques, how would you adapt to this rule? Would you drop back all to your wingers, both your wingers and your fullback? Would you just send back your flyer from your fullback? So let's say like you have the Blues team that there's Bonan Barrett and Otere Black. Would you drop both of them back, or would you drop someone like the Hurricanes, Lua Mape back and Ben Lamb back with someone with the likes of Tia? How would you do this? How would you counteract this rule? Would you drop 3 or 2 players back?
Well, if I was the head coach, I would firstly think how much confidence do I have in those back 3 players of mine. If I think two of them can do a good job, if the strategy is just to kick back to get some field advantage, which I don't think is a good idea. I don't want that ping pong kicks, as they call it, just kicking around on the field. So for me, I would just choose 2 players, maybe a wing and a fullback to cover that space, because the fullback can also cover the other side if need be. But I wouldn't personally pick all 3 backs in my defense line, who can maybe try to intercept, maybe just get an extra defender in there. Or I can just tell my forwards not to go heavily into the rucks and stuff, so I can get more defenders in that defense line. So it's quite a few strategies that can work, but for me personally, I would just choose 2 players to stick back.
That's interesting because I spoke to Stefan of between the games, between Saturday and Sunday about this. Because we all know New Zealand has a dynamic style of play and they're very good at defense. That's the reason they were number 1 for so long and even in the top 3 for so long. So the thing is that their hookers and their locks tend to stand on the wings or center positions on defense and offense, which is quite a good skill if you have a good hooker. And Jakkal scored a brilliant try this weekend on the wing. So that type of play will encourage, you can drop back a winger and a fullback, but your eighth man and your flankers and your hooker will actually have to work much harder to cross the field and cover those wings if the other team starts to run the ball more and this law works. Or they will have to fall back eighth man, and that will actually negatively impact the defensive side if your eighth man is someone like Dwayne Vermeulen who's a hard tackler. So there's multiple ways you can look at this rule, how it can be counteracted, how it can be worked to your favor. But the thing is, which I look to see, is this will work in a type of a difficult situation. Like there's nothing going on, a knock on, and someone just picks up the ball and chips it into the corner, and suddenly you have an attacking line out, and now you're 7 points down. You don't know how you got here, but it's just a lucky bounce of the ball.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. It's difficult, like I said, with the front rowers having to do even more work. But that's where the stamina and the endurance will come into effect. With it being Super Rugby coming back after this lockdown, I think the fitness will be tested with the forward and the backs because it's going to be more attacking rugby. So I think the plays will be longer. I think they want to eliminate the how can I say, the stagnant time where they do nothing. So I think fitness will be a huge game changer, if I can put it that way, for both teams, attacking and defending. So I think for Australian rugby it will be good. They can work on the defense and attacks because Australian rugby have been how can I say, not that good up to standard for international rugby. So I think this new law change will have a benefit overall for Australian rugby, so they can take what they've learned into the international stage, so they can be at the top level where they used to be.
Yes. And as we know, Australian teams are always naturally good in the air. So even if they don't use the 50-22 kicking rule to deny or to get possession and territory, they can always try and use this rule to advantage with someone being back and contesting in the air. And then obviously if it bounces out and goes out, they still get the advantage. So it can be used in multiple ways. So yeah, I think that's it from our side on this rule. Personally, I'm not a fan of this one. But Jacques, I'll leave you with your last opinions and then the question of the day, and then we'll sign off there.
Yeah, my opinion is also I don't know if it's the best idea. I know they are looking to gain some fans from the rugby league, so that's why they changed the rule. Because rugby league is, as far as I know, very tough and a little bit different from normal rugby, if I can say it like that. I just hope they don't use this as an excuse just to kick the whole time and not try and attack, not trying to do the set plays as they should do. So that's my only concern, is the kicking between the two teams. But my question for the day is, they say they changed the new rule so they can attract more league fans. Is it the best way they can do to attract the fans, or do they have another approach? Can they get another approach to attract the rugby league fans to the Super Rugby stadiums? Because we all know now there's a lot of talk about attendance in our Southern Hemisphere stadiums. So what can Rugby Australia do to get the rugby league fans into Super Rugby without changing the whole format of Super Rugby to fit to the rugby league format?
I like that question. It's a good question because obviously you want to support both of them, or you want more rugby union, because rugby union is, in my opinion, the better one to watch. And although rugby league is much harder to play, and I think to endure on your body. So I like that. Thanks, Jakkal. Thank you for joining in. It's been good to pick your brain about this topic. And then please, guys, if you're listening from Australia, please answer that question. And New Zealand, I believe both of them are rugby league. They'll be able to answer the question. Rugby league isn't that big in South Africa yet. But please, guys, remember to check out Rugby for Days blog, rugbyfordays.com. Check us out on YouTube, where this podcast will be able on Spotify and Apple, even posted on YouTube. Yes, and we are on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So you can check us there, send us a message, interact with us. Please leave a like. Please share this with your friends if it's content you like. And then we will see you guys in the next podcast or video.